Alright, hey everyone, welcome to Premier League 2 broadcast. This is week number 3, Fnatic versus Eclypsia. I'm Luminous from DotaCommentaries.com, and joining me alongside is LD from DC as well. Fnatic on the Radiant, Eclypsia on the Dire. This is the best of 3 series, game number 1 coming your way. We talked about the pre-game analysis. The draft is going to be very, very important, more so than any other game, as we are having the game loading. Good to see. None of the observers are lacking it. So what are you expecting here from Fnatic? And what are you expecting here from Eclypsia?
I actually don't know what to expect, to be perfectly honest. So my expectation is that I will be surprised. I say that Chen is the first ban. That's certainly not surprising.
No, that's pretty standard.
Right, but again, Fnatic has not played that much. Eclypsia with the new, certainly they've played with Playmate before. But even if you have experience with a player, of course, the metagame shifts while he's not on your team and while you're not playing with him. And, at Dota 2 in particular, the metagame is shifting a little bit every week as new heroes get introduced. Speaking of that new hero, it will be Panda today. I cast a game with him earlier today. It was really exciting to watch. And the Panda Ultimates, whether he got it off or not, was deciding the game. So I'm very curious whether he'll get banned. He hasn't been banned as much as I thought he would be, but it is starting to pick up a little bit. I think teams are slowly realizing they have to respect the Panda. And if they don't, he'll make them respect it sooner or later.
Well, I mean, banning the Panda is nice and all, but you also are allowing some other very strong heroes through the pool. I think the other day we casted a game where there's a Lycanthrope, there's a Panda and a Furion, or maybe a Chen instead. Like, there's a whole bunch of quote-unquote OP heroes now, and we're halfway through the first ban stage. We see Tidehunter and a Chen being banned up, so some of the very strong heroes like Brewmother, Furion, Lycanthrope that just got banned, Brewmaster like you point out, they're gonna slip through the first pick stage, and it'll be very interesting to see which team's gonna pick it up and how they use those picks.
Yeah, this is really the state that Dota 1 is in right now. If you actually watch any recent Dota 1 games, mostly it's Southeast Asian replays that are out there, there are just too many heroes to ban, and so of course, Southeast Asia Dota 1 favors a couple of different heroes, and they're not as interested in heroes like Silver as you see in Dota 2. But all that being said, I mean, there's just too many heroes to ban, and so you end up getting heroes, like really strong heroes, into every game. I like when there's enough strong heroes that they can't all be banned, because then then you pretty much see the second tier every game. Speaking of strong heroes, Leshrac getting banned out. Overall, 3 strong pushing heroes being banned. That make that 4. And of course, a bunch of strong team fight. They are going to pick up the Panda. Man, call it luck or skill, but either way, I guess I was slightly on point. The immediate reply. One way to deal with the Panda is the silence, and expect to see Broodmother go for an Orchid at some point in this game. Of course, Shadow Shaman, another way to deal with them, strong disables, and a lot of pushing power.
Yeah, so a couple of things right from the get-go from the Eclypsia picks. Just from these 2 heroes being picked up, they don't want to have a team fight. Against the Brewmaster, that's probably the best way to go. You don't want to take it head-on. You want to pressure multiple lanes, which Brewmother and the Shadow Shaman could give you. Also, Shadow Shaman could give you a very key initiating with a Blink Hex against the Brewmaster. When those team fight at the mid-game and late-game happens, that's what you need to figure it out and kill the Brewmaster. We always see a snap counter pick here by the Radiant squad to pick up a Sand King against the Brewmother, and a little bit of pushing squad themselves of both teams, again, focusing on the early game. Now, of course, on the Radiant side, still a little bit EXP dependent, but I think they have a little bit better firepower early on. Clap's really good, the Sun is really good from both the Sand King and Enigma.
Yeah, the Spider Lanes are not going to be too happy if they run into those 2. Of course, Sand King can solo verse the Broodmother. We've seen the power of that, whether it's Caustic Finale or Sandstorm. Of course, the Burrow Strike is nice too. They've got a good mix here. They've got some stuns. They've got some tank in the Panda. They've got crazy good team fight. So if you're Eclypsia, I don't know if you can top this team fight coming out from Fnatic. So if you can't top it, what do? I'm guessing the best alternative is to try and spread them out and push them so they can't force any big team fights, because if they do, you're probably not going to win.
I mean, it's also okay to fight a team fight early on and lose that team fight, but I mean, again, this is where it comes in about going for the smart trades. If you look at the cooldown here on the Radiant's ultimate, it is long. Like, if you bait a black hole, you bait Panda ultimate, and you somehow survive that, that's at least 2.5 minutes where they're not going to be using their best spells. And again, you have some great pushers. Warch gets to drop down on one side of the map, Brewmother pushes on the other side of the map. That's going to be absolutely fine for Eclypsia. Now, again, to answer your question, I'm not sure if this is rhetorical or not. What do you do against this team fight lineup? I'm still a big fan of picking up a hard counter like a silencer, and you just win the game. But that's just me. Teams have not been really responding to that kind of... It is a hard counter, although he doesn't give you anything else in terms of laning, in terms of small scale engagement, etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes to those late game fights, Silencer can frankly stand in the base and just press R at the correct time, and he can completely turn the team fight. But this banks on your team having the damage, having the stuns, having the ability to win that team fight during the duration of his ultimate. It's nice. It doesn't last forever. Of course, there are counters for it if you pop a BKB after it, if you pop a Manta style after it. Not sure we'll see any of those items this game. Who knows? But there are counters to the Silencer. That being said, it gives you a really strong answer for their team fight if you want to go that route. But like you said, he doesn't offer much in the laning phase. And frankly, he's food for a lot of these heroes. They'd be happy to gank him. He doesn't have any escape mechanism. Normally, you'll see a Silencer go for a Force Staff or even a mechanism. But that might not be enough. And normally, you don't see a Silencer getting that amount of farm without being punished.
Yep, and I wonder what the secondary support here is for the Eclypsia squad. Generally, they'll pick it right from the ban stage, right out of the ban stage. I'm expecting a Crystal Maiden here. We do see a very smart ban of the Vengeful Spirit. That's going to protect both the Enigma and also give a quick swap hex initiation against Brewmaster. So that's pretty good. I do assume it's going to be a Crystal Maiden. It's going to give him a lot of range, a decent team fight, great counter pushing AoE, and I do believe Rise has great success with that hero.
Yeah, interesting to see that she's actually banned out by the Radiant because they do have the first pick coming out of the stage, and frankly, Vengeful Spirit would not be bad with their heroes, but I think they need a little bit stronger of an early game lane controller. They're not really going to have the flexibility to leave too many of these heroes solo, especially the middle lane. I think it's going to be difficult. I expect we'll see Shadow Shaman there. That's not necessarily the case, but I would certainly expect it would be, given that he's right now the strongest solo mid out of these 6 heroes. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on that middle lane. I doubt we'll see a Sand King or Brewmaster try to solo against him because, frankly, they can't unless the Shadow Shaman doesn't play well. This is all hypothetical, but for me right now, they need a support who's got a really strong dual laning presence. Maybe something like a Crystal Maiden. Maybe something like an Ancient Apparition. But we'll see which way they go.
It's purely hypothetical, but it was a sound hypothesis because, yes, I don't know who else you would put other than Shadow Shaman. I have not seen Eclypsia actually play a support Shadow Shaman, which is a possibility. Some teams do go that route, but I think you have Migo, one of the best SS players out there, so you want to put him mid. I do believe Angel should play the Broodmother, although Playmaker definitely go for it as well. Mania probably going to be playing the Shaker. Darkseer is the ban here. That one took a long time. We all snap ban here on the Enchantress, trying to take away the jungle presence. So I think right now Fnatic needs a support. Enigma can be one. Crystal Maiden is going to be their pick. So a draft for themselves and also a ban for the other. Because I'm sure Eclypsia is looking for that himself. They're going to go for Windrunner. That can be a support Windrunner. We have definitely seen that in the past. And I do believe because they picked it 4th, it is going to be support Windrunner. Eclypsia always pick their support on 4th. It's just a big coincidence or maybe a big trend. We'll see. And neither team really have... I'm not sure how the last pick is going to adjust. It feels like both teams have really curved out what they really want to do. But at the same occasion, the last pick could always change things up.
To me, this is the critical pick for Fnatic. They're not too XP or gold dependent yet. But if they pick up a hard carry, suddenly there's a lot of farm that they need. Sure, you've got the Enigma. If he's allowed to sit in jungle, he'll be able to provide he'll get some farm that way without stealing it from the other heroes. But that's going to be a lot of pressure on the Crystal Maiden to support early. They're going to go for Venomancer. I know they often like to run Venomancer as a little bit more, not of a semi-carry, but a farming support. I'm not sure they'll be allowed to do that this game. Most likely, I mean, I guess Enigma could support along with the Crystal Maiden. So I'm curious who will be their primary support, probably the Crystal Maiden, who will be their secondary. To me, that's not as clear. But I like the fact that they picked up a less XP and gold dependent 5th hero.
I think it's pretty clear in the sense of Enigma's going to go jungle, just judging from the laning here. The Crystal Maiden's going to go with the Brewmaster. Sand King should be paired against the Brewmother, so you want him to solo. So that leaves the Venomancer on a solo mid position, or maybe solo bottom, depending what lane they expect the Brewmaster, the Brewmother should be in. Brewmaster and Brewmother, that's going to be really confusing. So yeah, we are going to see a farming Venomancer, which I am in agreement with LD. It's going to be a it's decent change. Venomancer is a very, very strong semi-carry if you give him enough item. If you give him a quick arcane mecha, and then also enough HP for him to drop off his ult and still do right-click damage, he becomes a very, very good hero. But we're seeing a good traditional pick here from Eclypsia or Quantic or SK, depending what what reigns, what year of the
Whatever you want to
what
call
year
it.
of these guys are talking about. It's going to be the Mirana. Angel's going to be handling one of his signature heroes, and that's going to give the Dire Squad quite a bit of mobility. If you look at the mobility here, we're going to have a Leap, a Windrunner, a Blink Dagger on Shadow Shaman. You could expect that to be a counter against the Brewmaster, and a Broodmother that could move very quickly under the webs. So this Eclypsia squad is going to be running circles around the Radiant, I would feel.
Yeah, the only hero that's not particularly mobile is this Earthshaker. Of course, eventually he'd like to get a Blink Dagger, but until then, expect to see him huffing and puffing after his teammates. Let's introduce the players. For Eclypsia, we have Rise handling the Windrunner. He did buy wards to start the game. Mania going to be on that Earthshaker with some sentries. Angel playing the Mirana. Looks like they might do some sort of offensive dual or tri-lane bottom. That would be interesting. I think they are, in fact. Koga going to be going mid as the Shadow Shaman. And we have Playmate on the top lane as Broodmother.
Yeah, very surprised to see no smoke on either of these three supports. Seems like they want to stand in this trialing and they are here to stay and try to get something done. They're going to be up against the Sand King, which is a quite easy gankable hero, especially when you have Sentry War available. Hani's going to be playing the Sand King. Back in the mid lane here, we have No Tail. It's going to be going mid here with Enigma, so it's not going to be a farming Venomaster. Instead, it's going to be a farming Enigma. We'll talk about that more in a bit. Era is going to be playing that support Venomancer, has the Smoke of the Seat. Nova is going to be handling the Crystal Maiden, have double wards up. And we have Fly playing the Brewmaster. Kind of an odd ward being dropped, but hey, that's a... I actually like this ward quite a bit on the Radiant plateau. It generally does not get countered early on, and it scouts pretty decently, although it doesn't give you vision, of course, up and down the ramps, closer to the mid lanes.
The way these lanes are shaping up, looks like we're going to be seeing a trade here. Broodmother's going to get shut down. At least that's the Radiant's goal. Hani on the Sand King, that would be the Dire's best wish to shut him down early. Tri-lane versus solo in both positions. I gotta say, the Sand King is easier and cheaper to kill early on. He doesn't have that fast mobility. Sure, he's got the Burrow Strike to get away. And, you know, he can sit in Sandstorm, but he can't move while he's doing so. So I think, to me, Hani's in a little more likely to die early on. Of course, I say that we'll probably see a kill in the top lane, as we actually have a rotation coming out from Nova. He's heading down towards bottom. Put down a Sentry Ward, wanted to counter, but he's not going to find anything.
Yep. I wonder where the Crystal Maiden is right now. No, she's just kind of roaming around. You're right, put down the Sentry Ward, didn't even find too much. I guess she's going to support a little bit back in the mid lane. Yeah, Shadow Shaman just staying far back, and because really you cannot go against two 600 range heroes, especially with the Eidolons. And this is where a solo mid Enigma becoming a lot more popular, where you use the Eidolon so you really help you last it. And to be honest, that's a lot of physical DPS that not many other heroes could last it against.
Not only that, well, Shadow Shaman at the same time is a decent counter to that. I mean, not early on, but as he levels up his Ether Shock, he will be able to quickly mow down those Eidolons. It's pretty expensive, but once he gets his bottle, it's, you know, I wouldn't say it's a hard counter to the Eidolons, but it's a way to deal with them. And in this respect, I'd say it'll be a pretty even matchup. Early on, No Tail should have the advantage. As Koga levels up, expect to see it get a little more even.
So we're seeing a little bit of hero rotation coming in from Eclypsia. Rise is going to be going on top of here. Playmate a little bit in trouble. Sentry is going to be dropped down. He's going to be dead for sure here. Do we have any? Yeah, that's going to be a lot of nukes. And like you suggested, we expected a kill on the bot, but you know, of course, that means it's going to happen on top, and it did happen on top. So good prediction here. Rise is going to be doing a little bit of polling here to get some the creep equilibrium going their way, and I think that's what they pinged earlier on the minimap. They wanted to do this. And that's going to give Rise a little bit of EXP, but more importantly, it's going to get the creep equilibrium a little bit closer to Playmate's tower, where the dive hopefully would not be as effective.
Yeah, early on, Venomancer, Crystal Maiden, probably not the best heroes to be diving tower. They have powerful nukes, but they are also quite squishy. There are no summons, you know, there's no Chen, there's no Enchantress, so there's no way to really tank the tower early on. And so they're going to have to be very careful. With that being said, they can backstab if the lane gets pushed too much. We're seeing Era harassing very aggressively right now. Koga picks up a DD rune mid. He'll be very happy about that. That's going to help him last hit. He did not rush a bottle. A little bit unusual to see a solo mid not rushing a bottle, especially on a hero like Shadow Shaman, who's so dependent on the runes. That being said, he's very close to it. No Tail up to 800 gold, so he's having a slightly better times in terms of farming. As you would expect early on, he's 10-7, 10-8 now. Koga 6-1. The notable creep score here is Angel, who's up to 13-11. That's pretty impressive, and he's doing a lot of this under his tower as the lane has been pushed quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Angel's going to get free farm in a lane like this. Sankin cannot simply get in. This is one of the more traditional dual lanes, a single fissure, and the arrow to follow up. That's a lot of chain stun, a lot of physical DPS. Of course, Starstorm can be summoned and dropped against the Sand King as well. So Sand King right now doing the next thing that he could do best, which is do a little bit of stack pull, and that's going to give him a little bit of XP. Hopefully, draw the creep aggro to creep Eclypsia towards his towers as well. Rise Mew on the top lane, still doing that pull, making sure that the lane is again sufficiently close to that tower as well. So quite defensive for both teams. They don't really want to be aggressive. And that makes sense considering that there's very oppressive tri-lanes and dual lanes on the other side of the map.
One thing to keep in mind at this stage of the game is because they're tri-laning in the top lane and it's only a dual lane down below, Sand King is getting some pulling, so he's getting decent levels. But this tri-lane is going to be pretty under-leveled. Well, I say that, they're actually doing pretty well thanks to that first blood. But if they're not consistently getting kills or roaming, Panda's going to take a while to hit level 6. No Tail is already level 5, so he's having a fantastic time. He's the highest level here on the map. That's thanks to those denies and the fact that he's soloing in the middle lane. He's picked up a Soul Ring, so at this point he's got permanent Eidolon spam. Going to have Black Hole relatively soon, and both of these ultimates, how they use them is going to be crucial in the middle lane. If either one gets an early kill, that's probably going to lead, if not to a tower, then a lot of damage to the tower. And so to me, that's one of the interesting things to watch. Right now, No Tail has the edge thanks to those denies.
Yeah, man, Eidolons is just doing so much work. He summoned another pair of Eidolons, sent one of them to the top lane, denied Illusion Rune against the Shadow Shaman. And Shadow Shaman now is going to go top and sees nothing. And he's going to be a little bit confused. Maybe he's going to figure out, hey, Enigma has denied it. That's pretty cheesy if you ask me, especially against a hero such as Migo Shadow Shaman, who is so dependent on the rune. Now he has to Bottle Crow, and that's going to take up the courier from someone else. And this is a trend that we've seen kind of a couple of teams have done, being really popularized by MTW, or was it CLG?
Oh, in terms of the solo mid Enigma, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I know Cinderon's been doing it. I know teams have done it in the past, in more, the more distant past. But recently, the only player I know of who's been doing it a lot is Cinderon. Of course, I'm not saying he started it. I know some people get upset when that's suggested, but he's certainly one of the people who's been popularizing it really recently. Action on the bottom lane. Angel does hit a nice arrow. I think he's going to go down anyway. He already popped leap. Picks up phase boots at the side shop. Will it be enough is the question. Doesn't look like it. Nova, Burrow Strike. Angel goes down, so that nice farm being stymied by a nice, an even nicer gank coming out. Good rotation from Nova and Era, journeying all the way from top down to bottom, and they did do that on the back of a smoke. This is what Fnatic needs. They need a good start early on, and they're certainly getting it.
Yep, they're getting a great start. They got a first blood on the opposing carry. They're giving Sand King a little bit more farm. In terms of heroes, when you have a Broodmother and a Sand King being shut down, neither of those heroes is going to be useful at all. But if your Sand King is getting some EXP now, especially some farm, that's going to be very, very good if you're going to get some Blink Dagger, a quick Arcane Boots at the very least. Arrow's going to miss. Hani, actually very interesting skill choice. Picked up single level Cosmic Finale. Something not I would do because you would push the lane quite a bit. But hey, he's okay in the lane so far.
Well, I guess the one nice thing is if you're pushing out the lane, then you can go pull, and you don't have to worry about the creep wave sort of just sitting and languishing in front of the enemy tower. It's going to be constantly ping-ponging back and forth, as long as the camp's not warded. Also, it does offer a little bit of harassment if the Mirana's standing up near the creep wave trying to zone you out. You can just hit the creep once, even when it's not low, and thanks to the recent buffs to Caustic Finale, it lasts for a long time. 8 seconds for that creep to die. You can even hit them at half health, and they'll usually end up blowing up on your opponent. So it's going to force the Mirana not to be quite as aggressive. It is a little unusual, though, to see it in this kind of a lane. But hey, I'm trying to come up with a rationale. I want to take a look at the wards here, because I noticed earlier there are just a lot of wards everywhere. Both teams being very aggressive. In fact, I think they're out of them at the moment. We do see a nice hill ward in the middle lane. That's going to hopefully set up a gank for the Dire. At least that's going to be Eclypsia's goal. A good ward at the bottom lane for the Radiant, going to be protecting Hani. And Hani's had a good start. The last time they played, I don't know if you remember, I forget who he's playing, but he had a horrible start, and it just did not go well for him.
Puck, I think it was the hero.
Yeah, it
one
was
of his
Puck.
signature heroes, but never got up going. And back in the mid lane, it's kind of like what you talked about. The Enigma's going to have the early advantage because of his Eidolons, but once Migo's hero is going to get a couple more levels, he can spam Ethershock and blow away those Eidolons, and suddenly you're giving him a little bit more farm. As we see a little bit gank coming towards the mid lane, I do believe Migo does know what's up, unless there's smoke. No, Nova is clearly visible here. And you can see, yeah, Migo's he's not shy to use those nukes because he does still have an invis in the bottle. Very good job not popping it so far. It is an out to a gank, so he's saving it for as long as possible until he needs some mana, like right now.
Yeah, not only is he going to get the mana, he's also going to be able to check this rune safely. Of course, if there was a sentry ward here, that could be problematic for him. But there's not, and in any case, nobody else is here. He's looking to maybe set up a kill with this Invis, seeing if the Radiant will check it. They are not even coming near this. They do see the Earthshaker, thanks to this Hill Ward, so they're just going to play it safe. Fly has managed to hit level 6. He's picked up an Urn up in the top lane on Panda. At this point, you know, he's gotten a decent start. He's gotten some EXP. Looks like Broodmother was not really able to shut him down too much. Shackle Shot coming out from this Windrunner. She's been pulling all game. What does she have? Only level 3. A little bit concerned about Ryze here. I mean, a Crystal Maiden at level 3 is one thing. As we see Initiation middle lane. Nice. No Tail. Looks like he's going to go down. Double damage. Good fissure. And the nuke comes out to clean him up. So definitely a win there. And narrowly escaping was Miguel.
Yeah, that's a pretty big win. We were talking about the levels of support. Mania, by the way, is level 6 on an Earthshaker. That's really, really high. At least for Earthshaker goes. Generally, we don't see Earthshaker hit level 6 until like minute 14 or something like that. But now that's going to give him some level. Now, of course, level is not the biggest thing because, you know, level 1 fissure is as good as, for a stun at least, as good as a level 7 fissure. But that's going to make him a little bit more survivable. There's a higher chance for him to be able to walk in here for Epicenter or Echo Slam as well. Gale goes miss on the mid lane here and no tail, unable to drop off a stun. So it seems like the game is a little bit more stabilizing here. Angel getting a lot more free farm on the bot lane. As it is on Honey, it's a good time to check out how we're doing in terms of farm. Burrow Strike harassing Angel a little bit down. Fissure comes in right now. Will Honey be okay? This Sandstorm did not dodge the stun. It looks like Honey will leap in for the kill. That should be it. Very good chasing from Honey. Facebook definitely helpful in that regard, and Honey went down.
Wow, Mania is just in the right place at the right time this game. Yep. These fissures, so not only are they nice fissures, but they're very timely fissures. And Hani just, you know, probably had like 2 minutes where he could have been aggressive there. And unfortunately, he chose the 5-second window right when Earthshaker showed up to the lane. You know, this is where a lane ward would be helpful, but of course, they've chosen to go for a rune ward, so they're not going to have that available.
No, but unfortunately, you're right. The rune is going to be stunning on the top lane here, and the Islands chooses to not destroy them. Here comes Ryze. We're going to set up gank here. No one's really following in. Both teams choosing to make sure they get every single rune, and I guess when you have a Shadow Shaman in the mid lane, that's very important to get it yourself and to deny it. Back on the top lane here, a lot of aggression going on the tower. Facebook is already up on Fly. They want this tower, and I think they should be able to get it, considering that we do have level 2 Plague Wards being dropped down, Sentry Ward down on the ground as well to make sure that there's no rune meta shenanigan. But we have an army of Spiralings, and they could be fairly strong defensive tools.
Yeah, well, when there's enough of them, it's at least going to make you think twice about coming in. Ryze, with that Invisorant, is rotate up top. He's got to be careful, and I think he knows it, because, of course, when there's a Broodmother in the lane, and the enemy's trying to push it, they're likely to have Sentry Wards nearby, and in fact, there are 2. The tower is under siege. Burrow Strike just on the creeps. I don't know if that was a misclick. Maybe just looking to push down the wave. But, of course, this is giving Angel all kinds of free farm. And if this game goes late enough, Mirana is the hardest carry in this game because she's ranged and has that mobility, and of course has decent right click damage. So you don't want to let him get free farm forever. You got to get something in return. They are going to get the tier 1.
We talked about it is about smart trades. We see Angel got the tower on the bot lane. Looks like they want to defend on the top lane. Will it get denied? No. They're going to have to focus on Fly. Fly will have mana for his ultimate. Is he popping it right now? Ward gets dropped. It misses. So that's a lot of misspells from both sides. Fly or Fnatic got the tower. They're very happy. They're going to back off for now. They didn't even need to use the ultimate for that. I do believe Nova's going to go down, but I think that's an okay price to pay. Spiralings, no, actually, yeah, the Spiralings got the kill there. It's a decent trade. Still for Eclypsia, they got the bot tower first. Had a chance of defending it at the top, and still got a Crystal Maiden kill. I think that's a win, in my opinion.
Speaking of smart trades, No Tail is pressuring middle. Koga comes in. He's going to get a clap. I don't think Panda ult was needed here, but they're going to drop it anyway. Maybe bot just getting a little bit frustrated with, the fact he hasn't a chance to use it yet. Mid tower goes down, so this is a pretty decent trade. I mean, overall, I'd say it was an even trade because they got the kill on the Shadow Shaman and the tower mid. Without that kill, I'd say a slight win for Eclypsia. But I like how Fnatic is not just TPing on top to try and defend. They recognize that tower was dead and they go for the trade instead. Nicely done by them.
I actually think the Radiant came a little bit ahead in that trade. I feel like they got the mid tower, which is strategically a lot more important than the top tier 1 tower. Shadow Shaman dying, I mean, that is one of their farmer. He was farming fairly decently, being able to keep up against Enigma and a free farming Panda. That's pretty good. Getting a kill on him will stop his Wind Dagger. So I think that was a very, very important kill. And if they got a top tower or mid tower to boot, that's pretty good. But right now, the top tower is in a little bit of trouble. They're trying to drop down as many wards as possible. Nova drops off a Nova as well. Nicely named. I just realized that.
Nova dropping Nova. Hani in a little bit of
13
trouble.
minutes in the game.
Huge,
That's why
huge dive by Hani here. Great fissure, blocking him towards the tower. Enchant Totem to follow. Burrow strikes away. Will he get away? One more bottle charge on Hani. I don't know why he went into the shop there. I don't think that was the right way to go. He's going to TP out, so maybe he's going to prove me wrong. Nice jukes by Hani. Oh man, just as I started to say, I'm not sure about the decision to go in there. He makes it pay off. Big TP out. A wasted TP from Earthshaker. That being said, they did slow down the push on the bottom lane.
Yeah, they definitely defended that push. Now, Sankey so far has not used his ultimate yet. He's very far away from any item. He can get his arcane boot right now, still haven't done so. Makes me think that he wants to rush Blink Dagger, but even if you rush Blink Dagger, you really need arcane boot to supplement your mana.
Uh-oh, in the top lane, Mirana popped her ultimate to initiate this gank. Nova's going to drop immediately. Era drops his ultimate. I don't think that's going to be enough. Will Hani drop a black hole is the question. He's looking for the opening. Just going to summon some Eidolons. One hero black hole. No arrow to cancel it. It was already used. So they get one kill. Hey, one-man black hole, not the worst thing in the world. Another hero actually goes down. Where are these kills happening?
Yeah, Playmate was chasing with the Spirelings, got the kill
Oh,
right
it's
now.
the
And a lot of
Spirelings.
Spirelings would be against a no-tail. Angel will be going down to the single right hit. The question is, will Brewmatter come in here? Now, Brewmatter realized that Sankey is in position as well. Good to micro your Brew. Oh, come on, that's like at least 150 gold worth of Spiling, but that's cool.
Well, he was running for his life. You talked about the mobility in the pregame. Playmate showing it there, was able to get some kills. And of course, one of the other ways that Broodmother is mobile and difficult to deal with and track down is she doesn't have to do all the work herself. Her Spiderlings can do some of it for her. 3 TPs, 4 TPs in the middle lane. Wards get dropped. Tower denied by Fly under the Serpent Wards. That was impressive to say the least. A lot of TPs were used, but they got the tower denied, so not too bad of a trade.
4 TPs, 135. What is that? 500 and something, 520 something gold. For a tower denied, that denied 500 gold. I think that was an even trade, if you ask me.
Yeah, you also have to consider the time investment where you're not farming other lanes, you're not pushing out other lanes. Speaking of farming, Mania has arcane boots, 750 gold in the bank. We may see an Earthshaker with a Blink Dagger on 20 minutes at this rate. Let's take a look at Hani, his counterpart. Hani's a little bit closer, but he does not have arcane boots. He went for a bottle. Whoever makes that early Blink Dagger count the most, I think that's going to be what ultimately determines how this game progresses from here. Both of these players are on probably the most important impact heroes, and of course the position is going to be really important for both teams.
Angel trying to deny a rune ward. Miss. One of the thing that you hate the most.
Yeah.
Especially when they see you denying it, you're going to get ganked at any moment. Blink Dagger is finished on the Brewmaster. So it seems like the Radiant team wants to go. They want to rush all these Blinks and go for some big initiation. No-Tail probably rushing that Blink as well. He's got the Hood finish as well as sowing and 1500 gold. Fnatic's farming fantastically right now. And it's up to Dire to really get something going in return. Immediately we see yet another Sentry Ward D-Ward. Blink Dagger's up on Sankey as well. Now it's time to go for something if you're Fnatic. You got the Blink. Right now you're a lot stronger than the enemy squad, especially before Shadow Shaman gets any tank gear and whatever else. This is time to go for a Roshan engagement. Maybe we'll push down the bot tower. And Era trying to get some level swell.
The only thing they could be waiting for is No-Tail's Black Hole. I don't think they need it to win a team fight, but that might be what they're holding off for. But you're right, 2 Blink Daggers. You're not buying those Blink Daggers to farm. You're buying them to fight, to gank, to be aggressive. So expect to see Fnatic do that soon, and if they don't, in my opinion, it's going to be a big blunder. Angel has picked up a Yasha. His farm is quite good. I want to take a look at creep scores here. We haven't done that recently. No-Tail, 97 and 25. Damn Shaniqua, I forget who that is, but it's 76-19 Brewmaster. From there, there's a pretty steep drop-off. Hani, you mentioned the Blink Dagger, only 52 creeps, so he's pretty squishy even with that Blink. For the Dire, we have 70 on Shadow Shaman, 83 on Angel, 72 on Playmate. Their farm's a little bit more evenly distributed. But overall, it's pretty balanced, and the gold graph is reflecting that. Only a 500 gold difference this late into a game. I mean, it's 17 minutes. It's not that late. But that small of a difference means we're looking at a very close game.
Damn, Shaniqua, that's Fly. At least it shows up a Fly.
Oh, yeah,
Panda.
you're right.
Back on the top lane here, teleportation coming in. Playmate, for the love of God, Micro Spiderlings away, and he is just suiciding them in. That's cool too. Playmate, by the way, has an Orchid finish, so despite not having the best lane, because of all the towers that his teammate pushed down. So we see initiation on the Angel. Look at the Suns, but the single shackle shot, a leap, and an arrow. Wow, Hounding's going to go down despite initiating Playmate, immediately teleporting in. That's never a good sign when your Broodmother's teleporting in. Hey, but if you're getting a kill, especially on a Crystal Maiden, it's all worth it, right? Crystal Maiden's going to go down for sure. She's just hiding there, wasting some time. Maybe she's going to survive. Maybe she's going to survive. Holy crap, she's going to survive. A single nuke's going to do it. Can we have a teleport scroll? No, she doesn't. She's going to die. But simply, she wasted a lot of time. Mirana got a kill on the Venomancer. Enigma was able to survive. He was not even there. Panda was able to TP out. So despite having the initiation, they did not do it properly, or I guess mainly was just too good with that fissure and counter gank efficiently.
Well, you can't eat a 2-hero shackle shot and I don't know if it was a 5-second, but certainly a 3 or 4 second arrow. This is going to lead to a Roshan attempt. Shadow Shaman has his Blink Dagger and 20 gold. I mean, I kind of think Fly should have dropped his ultimate there. He showed he's not afraid to use it for just 1 hero kill when he probably didn't even need it earlier. I'm not sure what he was holding on to for. Might have been able to help save his teammates. They do have it up now. Are they going to try and defend this Roshan attempt? It doesn't look like it. They know what's going on. It's been scouted with the Eidolons. The rotation is coming, but they're going to be too late. Roshan is going to go down.
Well, it might be close. No, yeah, the Radiant's going to be a little bit too late. Playmate's going to pick it up.
Interesting.
No, I think that's a decent choice. I mean, Playmate at this point, very squishy. He has a lot of utility in him in the fact that he does have an Orchid, but he could easily die in a team fight due to the correct focus fire. They went on Angel earlier, and I'm not sure if that's the best choice. Of course, they had a lot of Blink Dagger to initiate, but Blink Dagger now you only have really one legit stun. Nova eats an arrow to the face, and probably a fissure as well. Nope. But yeah, Angel was able to easily leap out. I think if they initiated on any other hero, that hero would have been dead, but again, the mobility of the Eclypsia squad paying off.
I want to point out here, I pointed out Notel's creep score earlier. I didn't talk about his items. He's got a mechanism on top of his hood and 600 gold in the bank. This is one of the most farmed and tankiest Enigmas you will ever see. Gonna be finishing a pipe relatively soon. Of course, Enigma's always a high priority target because of Black Hole. Now you're putting 2 more important support items on him. And if he wasn't already enemy number 1, he will be now. Courier in a little bit of danger here. Playmate might get caught out. This would be a very unfortunate way for the Aegis to go. Malefice coming out, Burrow Strike, of course, followed that. Looks like he's going to get away. They have detection. Black Hole just for him. Mania walks into it. I have no idea what's going on. Maybe he's lagging. Clap coming out of Mania as well. Epicenter on Mania. Mania's going to go down. Broodmother respawns. A lot of low HP heroes. Notel on the retreat. I bet he wishes he had that Black Hole now. Sand King going to go down. Notel going to eat an arrow. Even though he's tanky, he's not that tanky. He's going to drop too. And of course, Nova nowhere to be found, but he would not have mattered too much in that fight anyway. Fnatic falling apart here a little bit in the mid game.
Yeah, Dean falling apart is understatement here as they just dropped 4 kills in exchange of a support shaker. Crystal Maiden, again, the only survivor in that fight. She was not even in it, but if she was, she would have died as well. And the decision to go on a Playmate right next to the tier 1 tower of a Dire base, I don't know if that's the best decision.
Questionable. I mean, to me, it feels like they're forcing the issue, and I don't think the situation was really that desperate now. Now it feels a little desperate. At least from the spectator's point of view. I gotta mention again, Fly did not get his ultimate off. That's the second fight where he's chosen not to use it. It almost would have been back up now if he had used it in that initial engagement. At the bottom tower where the 2-hero shackle shot and the arrow hit. He chose not to, blinks in on Angel. Now he's gonna drop the ult. Burrow Strike on the ground. Unfortunate misclick there. Looks like they want to chase Mirana. Of course, Boulder Toss will not hit when you're invis. Panda ult wasted for absolutely nothing. And EC just going to skate away and go back to farming. If you look at the creep equilibrium right now, every lane pushed deep into Fnatic's side of the river. This is what happens when you lose team fights, and this is what happens against a Broodmother. It goes unchecked.
That engagement just clearly show. Oh my god, a smoke pop and immediate right clicks out of it. Oh, that's not what they wanted. But that's where it shows us we see a Rise in a little bit of trouble. Hani's gonna go back off. They really want to chase down those kills. They're playing a little bit Rambo here, but so far it's not gonna work out. They gotta slow down and go for those deliberate ganks. But we just saw Panda and his, I guess, strength and weaknesses. Panda's ultimate is really good when you want to be defensive. Not so good when you want to go offensive. I mean, you can chase with the Boulder and the Cyclone, but a lot of the time it's better when you're surrounded by 3 or 4 and suddenly the Panda claps, ultimates, and half your team gets disabled. One gets Cyclone for 6 seconds, one gets stunned. At that point, it's time for the enemy team to run, but again, half your team is left behind, so you cannot run. So you're absolutely right. I don't know why Fly is not dropping those ultimate in those early engagements where they got initiated on, or where it got a little bit hairy when the enemy team decided to counter-initiate. They're trying to initiate with the Panda ultimate, and that's not going to be the best, especially if your Burrow Strike or if your Clap is not hitting.
It's a tough spot to be in right now if you're Fnatic, let's be honest. You just blew a black hole, you blew a Panda ult, you came out behind in both situations. You didn't even do anything with the Panda ult, you only got 1 kill with the Enigma ult. And we talked about this in the pregame, one of the downsides of their lineup is they're very reliant on their ultimates. Nova going to go down again, out of position, hasted or not, does not matter if you get shackled up. So smart play there not to use the Hex first. And unfortunately, Nova not having a very good game. Of course, when you're losing, Crystal Maiden is normally the one who pays the price the first. Or she's the first one to pay the price, I should say. And such is certainly the case here today.
Yeah, it seems like the Radiant is showing really good farm, but that farm has not really gotten too much. 105 here on Fly here, 130 on No-Tail, and also 67 on Hani, but looks like we have Blink Initiation on Panda. He blinks out. That's a mistake here. As someone teleports in, that's a brave TP. No-Tail's going to be the person. He gets immediately silenced. So a little bit of misplay from both sides. Will the tower go down? That's the question. Will the tower be put in deny range?
I don't think it will. We'll have to see, though. It's starting to get close. Spiderlings are going to come in. Is wisely going to micro them away. Perhaps he's finally listening to you. Blink attempted initiation on Era in the middle lane. He's going to be fine. Now that the Blink is up for Shadow Shaman, I mean, he's making his presence felt everywhere. Speaking of Blinks, Mania is getting close to his, dangerously close, I might add. Angel has completed a Manta style. Man, another 1,700 gold in the bank. I feel like he's running his own personal mint. As he was farming well before, but has really accelerated recently. 134 CS, 3, 2, and 4, so he's dying a decent amount. Epicenter attempt here, Blink, Clap, it gets cancelled. Immediate Hex, big misplay. It looks like we're going to see 1 kill coming out immediately. Hani goes down. Hani not having a good game again. Fly in some trouble. Will he be able to drop his ultimate? He drops it just in time. But Mirana ultimate was used. Again, the Panda ultimate really not getting too much accomplished. There's no detection. They're going to have to retreat this entire time. Playmate is doing the best he can to get kills in the bottom lane. Will we see a black hole just for Playmate again? Yes, we will. They are going to get that kill. But Panda ultimate not amounting to too much. And he ends up... Did he go down? No, he was able to walk away. Narrowly dodging arrow, in fact. That was close for Fly.
Yeah, that was really close. There's a questionable buyback here for the Broodmother. Man, Brewmaster and Broodmother.
Oh, she did buyback.
Yeah, she did. I'm not sure if that's the best of choice, but hey, there's a tower on the top to supplement a little bit of that buyback cost. I guess they just want to pressure every single lane, keep up map control. You don't want the Broodmother lane to be pushed back towards your tower. And he's right back here. Like she never really left, and she's going to keep on pressuring, forcing the enemy to keep at least 1 or 2 person. Era's going to be the person who kept up here, but he's got to be very careful as we see Mania picks up his Blink Dagger. Era, yeah, a single silence and a couple of right click, he's going to get brought down. So he's got to watch out.
Yeah, at this point, although Fnatic got the Blink Daggers first, they didn't do too much with them, and now they're up on the other side. The Blink initiation, I gotta say, from the Dire is a little bit more reliable. Shadow Shaman can blink in, Hex is instant, you don't have to worry about channeling Epicenter. Panda can blink in, but his ult's got that second of cast time, and of course Clap is not a stun. It's a nice nuke, but it's not an instant disable or anything like that. So the Dire has a little bit more time to react. They've got the Mirana ultimate to use defensively. The Blink Daggers for the Dire overall, in my opinion, are going to be bigger. And at least so far that's been the case. We haven't seen Fnatic do too much with those. Nova going to get caught out again. Poor guy, just not having the best game. Shackle shot. Silence on the Era. Eclypsia going to back off. Just settle for that easy Crystal Maiden kill. Poor Nova, already 0-5. Not a good game for him.
So many stuns for Eclypsia. That's one of the things we talked about. Eclypsia likes to run stun-heavy lineups. And it's definitely better than slows, at least in these occasions. They want to push down that bot tower. It's very low. Angel not in position just yet. You know, as I say that, she's back in base, trying to finish her MKB.
They're just gonna forfeit this tower. Oh, sorry, you're talking about Angel. Let me take a look. Yeah, getting close. Gonna port top to farm, I suppose. So just forfeiting that tower by Fnatic. Angel wasn't even there. I guess they want to be a little bit more selective about when they fight, but unfortunately, this is gonna give more time to farm to Angel, who, you know, you mentioned it, he's getting close to that MKB. Once Mirana has 2 damage items, she gets a little bit out of control. Especially when you look at the other side, and what do you have? A Panda with a Blink Dagger and a Poi Booster. You're not out-carrying a Mirana with a Manta MKB with that.
Well, I mean, Manta MKB on the Mirana sure gives her a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, she still is a glass cannon. So if you could bring her down, and there's a lot of Blink Daggers to aid in that matter, I guess you can in dare just kill him, but again, that's really hard, especially the way that Mania's been playing with the Zerf Shaker. He's always there with the fissures, always so annoying. Just when you think he could get a kill, Fissure comes in. And of course now with the Blink Dagger, it makes it a lot easier as well. And the reason that they could play like this, the Dire Squad, where you have Mirana just farm on the top, they got some guys farming on the mid, and then a couple guys farming on the bot. The reason they could play this is that they got mobility on all of the heroes. Sure, Mirana can be initiated on, but a single leap will solve that issue. Play him is sure he can be initiated on, but you know, he could run out as well. And sure, they might lose a couple heroes once in a while. As Nova decides to walk in that jungle again, I'm not sure if he realized that that jungle is no longer his. Tommy gets one trap. Venomancer gets a ultimate off, but here comes Mania again. What did I say about Mania being in the correct places at the right time? Ultimate gets dropped here. It looks like Sankey finally dies. And I think Broodmother is going to be fine. He's walking under that sentry ward, trying to lifesteal his way back. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out.
No Fire Panda, otherwise he might have died there. He did kill that one off. And now another Brewmaster ult just not accomplishing anything, being used just to escape. He will blink out. It's not looking good at all for Fnatic. Roshan's going to be up momentarily. It was pretty close, or it was done quite a while ago. It's got to be up soon. They've got total map control. They can certainly wait for it if they want to. Aegis maybe will go towards Angel this time, as he is doing a lot more damage than Broodmother. But again, she wouldn't be a bad choice either. Speaking of that Broodmother, getting very close to a BKB. And they really don't have an answer for that outside the black hole, but you don't want to be blowing a black hole just on Broodmother, while, of course, the Mirana is pounding away at you in the meantime.
I suppose another answer is for Brewmaster to disable half the enemy team and then just go out right-click him. That is a answer, but that's not the answer you really want, to be honest. Meanwhile, of course, Angel is also going to be doing some big DPS, just 100 go away from that second Javelin. And I think now is a good time to put that Aegis on Mirana, and suddenly, instead of a glass cannon, she's just a cannon, and she will just blow the hell out of you.
Lumi, I just drew a line on the map. I want to point out the creep equilibrium. I know you're a big fan of focusing on this, and it was at a point where they had maybe 10% of the map visible. Of course, nearly all their wards have been dewarded. Well, this makes Roshan very easy. He did respawn. Eclypsia on top of that instantly. Angel with the DD. Roshan will be dropping momentarily. He's going to have the MKB. They can definitely go for a push after this. I don't know what the Radiant can do, even if they win one team fight. I mean, you talked about BKBs being a good solution to big ultimates. Aegises are too. I say Aegises, you can only have one at a time. But if you've got 2 lives and they blow all their ultimates to kill you once, there's not going to be a response the second time around.
Yep, the courier is going to be delivering the MKB. Seems like Eclypsia is ready to put this game out as they are pushing down the mid lane for that last tier 2 tower. I mean, just look at the amount of tower that the Radiant teams or the Dire teams still have. They have 4 towers up. The gold chart, by the way, hugely in the favor of the Dire squad. About 12,000 gold lead. Mirana actually still pushing up top to make sure that they don't lose any tower during this push. Also get a little bit more farm on Angel. Again, they could do this because they have mobile heroes. It's sure you might sometimes lose the Broodmother on the bottom. We saw that black hole gank. But it's okay because Mirana's getting ganked somewhere else, or getting farmed somewhere else. Shadow Shaman's getting farmed somewhere else. This is kind of very reminiscent of the kind of 3 carry 2 support kind of strat that was popular a while back in the Chinese scene, where you pick very mobile heroes, you farm everywhere, and there's nothing much the enemy team would do about it.
Right, at best you maybe kill one of those heroes, but during that time the other 2 are farming. It's also a good counter to these, like we've talked about, Fnatic's lineup is heavily team fight oriented. Those ults have long cooldowns. They're very reliant on those ults. If you spread out, I mean, are you really going to blow a black hole just for a Mirana while Broodmother's pushing in your bottom lane? I suppose you have to if that's what it comes down to. A bunch of heroes are smoked up for Eclypsia. They're heading in towards the top lane. Looks like they want to get a pick on Fly, but instead they're going to run right into No-Tail. Oh, No-Tail, please back up. I don't want to see you die like this. This would be painful. He's also picked up a gem. I don't think this is for the Broodmother. I think it's to try and get some map control back in terms of the warding situation. And it looks like he wants to do some dewarding, but he's got to be really careful right now.
Not only for the dewarding, but also for Mirana's ultimate, as Angel's been using that to, I mean, not many players use that ultimate to its fullest potential. We've seen him use it for ganks, we've seen him use it, to escape. I mean, the ultimate's really, really good against Panda, who, I mean, even if he had a dust on him, he could not pop it because he does not have access into inventory. A little bit cool trick, I'm not sure if Val has fixed it for Dota 2 or is still in here, is if you're, let's say if you're Crystal Maiden and Panda jumps you an ult for the kill, just pop a smoke. I mean, you could lull and then just be like, where are you guys at? But we're going to see engagement here on Mania. Mania being out of position for the first time, but he does cancel Jaime's ultimate before he died. Still drops off all his spell. Here comes his teammate here. Moonlight Shadow is going to be used. He's mech, he's still alive. Mania is somehow alive. Shaco shot on too. No tail, a little bit trouble. He does have his Black Hole. Will he use it right here? No, he cannot use it as Boom Runner comes in right now. There's a silence on Era. And the team fight goes the other way. Era's going to be going down. Mania still alive. Finally dies to the Panda ultimate. But I think that was okay. They're fine losing Mania after he dropped every single spell despite being initiated upon. And that's the difference between having a very farm Panda and not a farm Panda. I mean,
wow, by the time Fly actually had a chance to drop his ult, they'd already lost 3 heroes in that fight. And Panda's strong. He ain't that strong. Especially not when you have heroes that can just wait for the ult to end and kite him. You've got the blink daggers to chase. Fly's going to go down here. Meanwhile, Playmate pushing in the middle lane. It's looking out of reach for Fnatic. They had a nice start. They were actually in the lead in the early game. But they've sort of fallen apart in the mid game. A couple of times where they didn't use ultimates where maybe they should have. A couple times where they did use them where maybe they shouldn't have. Just not, you know, Eclypsia basically just, when those ultimates are down, they're getting aggressive. They got early map control from a couple good team fights, turned it into Roshan, and now they're looking to turn it into a game 1 victory.
Yep. Too much mobility on Eclypsia, not enough stuns. We have a Maleficent and a Burrow Strike, that's it. And that did not keep a Shaker in position, as he is, you know, dropped off all his spells before he died, and that actually did a lot more damage and chain stunning, allowed his teammates to get in position. Push is commencing, Angel's going to be on low ground shooting up, and here comes one tower. The question is, will they keep on pushing? Seems like they want to be a little bit more defensive about it, farm a little bit more.
Well, they certainly have that ability to farm more if they want to. The lanes are pushing both on top and bottom. Let's take another look at item progression. Gem was picked up a Windrunner. I don't think No-Tail dropped that. Does he still have his? No, he did drop it. So that's going to be another spoil of war for an already filthy rich Dire lineup here on Eclypsia. 4 staff, a Windrunner. Any other notable item pickups? Helm of the Dominator on Angel. BKB has been up for a long time on Playmate. And aside from that, if you look at the Radiant, they had a great item progression to start the game. And then nothing since then.
Yep. Well, they've been losing fights ever since then, so it's not
it's no surprise.
Progression. And right now we might see Nova getting ganked one more time. No, Angel's gonna find himself Era, and that's gonna be easy kill.
This is just, I mean, this is taking candy from a baby. Block? Just kidding. He's actually gonna Maleficent, but right-clicking away on Nova, who eats an arrow as well. Will we see another 1-hero black hole? He's gonna walk out of here. It looks like they're gonna let him. But again, Mania always in position. Koga now going on the offensive. No tail, no mana for Black Hole. Fnatic needs to get out of here, but they're not going to. Epicenter in. No Burrow Strike from Hani because it's on cooldown. Nice BKB from Koga. Panda ult gets popped. Playmate not using his BKB yet, so he's going to get thrown up in the air. Still no mana on No Tail. They got to run. Unfortunately, the Panda ult and the Epicenter both used defensively. Or rather, not to get kills. Angel might go down once. They're not going to kill him twice. Time to get the hell out. They did burn the Aegis. That's something, but at the cost of 2 ultimates.
And here comes Angel with the Aegis back. Everyone's low. I gotta say, that was one of the most sloppy fight I've seen Eclypsia take. I mean, they were kind of just running around for kills, but suddenly the entire Radiant team came. And if Angel didn't have that Aegis, that fight could have turned around. But right now, the item advantage is so huge that even when you have a big blunder like Eclypsia did, it's okay. Because your items will back you up.
Well, speaking of blunders, I mean, I don't know what Fnatic was thinking trying to take a big team fight without Enigma having mana. I guess they felt like they had no choice. But that's normally when you run a team fight lineup and you're going to fight a team fight, you want to be able to drop a Black Hole. That was unfortunate to say the least. I feel like they could have had a huge victory there with the Black Hole, but it wasn't up. Now they're going to lose Rax as a result. BKB coming out from Broodmother drops the ult. Fly gets silenced, not able to drop his ult, although actually it was down from the last fight. He does buy back immediately. Rax go down. One melee Rax to start, range Rax probably to follow. Maybe not. Burrow Strike in on Playmate. He's still pretty tanky at this point. Echo Slam for Mania. Blinks in on Hani. Hani in trouble. A nice fissure. Man, Mania has been so strong this game. Koga going to get clapped, but Panda just doesn't do the right-click damage right now. Black Hole on 2. Will it get canceled? It's doing a decent amount of damage, but there's no follow-up. They just don't have the right-click at this point. Angel in the back lines, chewing through No Tail. He'll be coming back for more in a second. Fly with no ultimate. Ultra kill coming out from Angel, but you got to credit Mania for some fantastic initiation. Playmate for baiting the stuns. The GG's coming out from Fnatic.
That was a really, really good black hole. Enigma was able to time out all the stuns in between, make sure that there's nothing to cancel it. He did drop it off, but I think that was too late as half his team has already died, so there was no DPS output. And meanwhile, Angel throughout was just right-clicking away, had lifesteal, able to stay in the fight, and that was it. Got a ultra, was it? Triple? A lot of
it was an ultra. So, I mean, this is the kind of game where one player may be getting all the kills, and not that Angel's not played well, but you really got to credit the supporting cast too. They've done a brilliant job. Yep. And we've talked about Mania quite a few times in this cast. Got to say, really nicely played by him. Just a little bit more feeding from Nova, who has decided not to disconnect just yet. Throne will be going down momentarily. I feel for Nova, man. 0-10. I know you like to see Crystal Maiden do well, but unfortunately not the best start. Leads to lots of deaths.
Yeah, definitely not the best start. 0-10 and 5. Not a good sign here. But game 1 will go to Eclypsia. Game 2 is coming your way. Any last words, LD?
No, I think that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. We will be back any moment now with game number 2. Eclypsia versus Fnatic. Coming right up.